I watched the envelope burn in the trash, the flames licking the paper like it was alive, like it carried every lie they'd ever told me. My heart didn't race. I didn't cry. I just breathed, slow and steady. That was the moment I knew they had chosen defiance over gratitude, entitlement over decency. My stepkids had told me, plain and cold, to stay out of their business when I asked about college plans. I should have laughed, but instead, I planned. I remember the first time I met them. Their father and I were unstoppable, hopeful, ambitious. I thought love was enough to bridge gaps. I thought my stepkids would see me as an ally, someone who wanted the best for them. They smiled back then, but smiles can be masks, and masks are easy to tear. The cracks appeared slowly. Late-night texts I wasn't meant to see. Whispers when I entered a room. Small lies that didn't add up. I caught the first real one when I overheard a conversation about scholarship applications. Applications they hadn't even mentioned to me, despite knowing I'd cover tuition. That's when the disbelief hit. First shock, then cold fury. But I didn't act, not yet. I kept my composure, calm, calculating. Every insult, every slight became fuel. I let it simmer. I watched them flaunt their audacity like a banner. They had no idea I was already 10 moves ahead. I started with the finances. I did the math, traced the funds. Every penny they assumed was guaranteed, I quietly withheld. Tuition deadlines approached. Forms went unsigned. I didn't call, didn't remind, didn't intervene. The irony wasn't lost on me. I had invested time, money, trust. They had invested in arrogance and defiance. The moment had to come naturally, the consequences self-inflicted. I watched them scramble. First panic, then denial. Texts flooded my phone. Pleas, excuses, guilt-ridden attempts at negotiation. I read each one with a steady hand, storing them for later. No emotion, only patience. Every apology I declined was a step closer to my satisfaction. I didn't need drama. I didn't need confrontation. The universe has a way of exposing entitlement when you simply step back. But I did prepare the final act. A meeting with the college financial office. A few strategically timed calls. A quiet message to their father. Everything framed as standard procedure, as professional necessity. The fallout would be theirs alone. The day arrived. They came to me, faces pale, voices trembling. We thought you'd help," one stammered. I tilted my head, a calm smile playing at the edge of my lips. "I did help," I said softly. "I just followed your instructions. You told me to stay out of your business. I stayed out of it, completely." Their eyes widened, comprehension dawning like a slow sunrise of dread. The scholarships had lapsed, deadlines missed. The plans they assumed were guaranteed collapsed like sandcastles against a rising tide. And in that moment, I didn't need to raise my voice. My silence spoke volumes. The satisfaction wasn't in humiliation. It was in realization. They had believed they were untouchable, that my kindness was weakness. They had learned, finally, that actions have consequences. And I learned something too, about patience, about strategy, about the quiet power of calculated restraint. I watched them leave the room, shoulders slumped, faces pale but enlightened. Not bitter, not vindictive, just aware. Justice doesn't scream. It whispers, lingers, and hits at the exact point where arrogance thought it was safe. I poured myself a glass of wine, the city lights flickering through the window like they were applauding. Relief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the calm after the storm, the silent acknowledgement that you've done what you had to do. I didn't feel glee. I felt closure, and that, more than anything, was victory. I leaned back, letting the weight of the entire saga settle behind my eyes. They had pushed, they had tested, they had underestimated me. I had stayed out of their business, completely, meticulously. And now, Finally, they were getting the reality check they had earned. And I was untouchable, unshaken, and unapologetically free.